Peace. Good morning, family. It is Wednesday. Let me get the date. Wednesday, January the 19th. Um, like we always do. Always start the show with gratitude and appreciation just to say thank you for being here because you could have been anywhere. Your tail could have still been asleep. And those that are listening to it on the replay, I appreciate you for being here as well, just tapping in and being involved with what we have going on. So, again, my showing of gratitude and grace to you for being here is 100% and 1,000% all towards you and for you. So, everybody that's here right now, I salute you and I say good morning, grand rising, whatever it is that you say where you're from, just say it in return. All right. So, everybody that's listening on the podcast space, whether you're listening on iHeartRadio, you're listening on iTunes, you're listening on Google podcast, or you're listening on Facebook podcast, I appreciate you, or Anchor. I appreciate you and all the things that you do. And again, we're always going to show gratitude. Yesterday, I went through the geography of the locations, but for as far as the demographics, you know, the females that are listening, the males that are listening, even those that are not specified, I'm gonna leave that alone. But for the young people that's showing out, listening, 51% of this podcast is listened by 18 to 22. And I'm grateful for that because when I was your age, there were no podcasts, nothing at all, nothing to give you something unless you went to church or you were around people that, that had a good head on their shoulders and they were able to breathe, life into you. But just to have 51% of listeners between the age of 18 and 22, I appreciate you 1,000%. I pray that whatever you hear, when you hear it, it actually touches you and does something mighty and great for you, that you have the ability to turn around and then bless somebody else. So again, my gratitude goes out to you and everything that you do. All right, so let's go with it. Miss Barry, how you doing? Peace. Mr. Trisha, peace. How you doing? Uh Man, I appreciate y'all 100%. All right, here we go. Man, today is good. Today is good. Today is good. We're going to be talking about gratitude. We show it every morning. We talk about it every morning, but I have yet to really just give you gratitude from a mental perspective, because it's really tapping into the capacity that you have to show gratitude. Really starts within the mind. It starts within the way you think. It starts within the way you communicate and the way you conduct yourself during those particular times. So again, that's why I always start the show with gratitude, because it's important to me, because there is power in gratitude. And that's why I named the show The Power of Gratitude. All right, so let's go ahead and jump with it. Hey, make sure you share this live and put it on your timeline, or share it inside of a group. Once you do that, those that are in the podcast, those that are in the Facebook space, once you share it, then go ahead and put the word done inside the comment, because this one is pretty powerful. All right, so like we always do, we go through the definition, we go through the etymology, and then I'm gonna give you the R2 definition, where I merge definitions, because a lot of times definitions, not that the definitions are outdated, but I give you a new 2022 definition on how you can see gratitude and the power of gratitude. All right, as you see right now, the first definition of gratitude is the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. The quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. With the second definition is the act of feeling and communicating appreciation for the people, circumstances, and material possessions in our lives. Again, the second definition is the act of feeling and communicating appreciation for the people, circumstances, and material possessions in our lives. And the R2 definition of gratitude, again, it's a merger of those two definitions and adding in a little bit too. All right, so the R2 definition of gratitude is the act of humility to readily show. That's not waiting for someone else to show you gratitude first. That's you being readily able and readily available to show your level of gratitude and appreciation and thankfulness while communicating through our circumstances. The second part is where the power base is. Communicating through our circumstances. That's having the ability to show your humility and be readily available to show appreciation and thankfulness while communicating through your circumstances. That's communicating through the storm. That's saying thankful before it happens. That's being able to being able to show gratitude even when no one else is showing you gratitude. Again, the act of humility to readily show appreciation and thankfulness while communicating through our circumstances. Again, when we're going over these things, the things that resonate with you, go ahead and put it inside a chat, because it is you getting it out of your mind and putting it through your fingers and actually being able to see it and view it, because there may be someone that's going to watch it on the replay that's going to be able to read and tap into something that you said that sparked your mind that can spark theirs as well. Again, the R2 definition of gratitude, which is the 2022 definition of gratitude, the act of humility to readily show. Readily now, again, it's not waiting. It's not, but they didn't. It's not, well, I wasn't ready, or it's not waiting for someone else to do it. It is the act of humility to readily show appreciation and thankfulness while communicating through our circumstances. All right. And the etymology, which is going back to where it came from, is Old Latin, which is gratis, which means pleasing or thankful. But for those that took Spanish class, when you hear the word gracias, that's the root word of what? Gratefulness. The root word of gratis, which is pleasing and thankful. So when you're being grateful for something, the origin of the word is thankful, gracias, or gratis, which is pleasing and thankful. So that's why you feel that way when you're being or you're showing gratitude, because the root of it is being thankful. Gracias, like Spanish. The root of it is pleasing. The root of it is thankful. But again, it is the act of humility to readily show appreciation and thankfulness while communicating through the circumstance. And I definitely want you guys to always remember that last part: communicating through our circumstances. All right. So the first one I want you to do and really understand. And again, if it resonates, go ahead and put it in the chat. Gratitude fuels your attitude. Your gratitude can fuel your attitude, because again, it's being readily thankful, readily being able to say it, because it can fuel your attitude. How about when you're inside of that situation or the circumstance, you begin to think about the things that you're grateful for by being in that moment, because when you change the way you say it, you can change the way you see it. Because when you begin to tap into that God sense or that God conscious, and you're tapping into the way that you think and the things that you're thankful for, it can actually begin to change your attitude on how you feel. Like, you know what? Hey, yep, I got fired. Man, it wasn't my fault, but you know what? I'm thankful for the opportunity of me being in that position. But now with me being in that position, I've learned some skills. There was some skill sets that I picked up while I was on the job that I can go out and I can either start my own business, or I'm readily prepared to help somebody else, to let them know that, yeah, you may feel that way, but guess what? There is sunshine on the other side. Show that gratitude, and that gratitude does have the ability to fuel your attitude, because remember, when showing gratitude, that is humility. The act of showing humility can ultimately allow you to be readily available to change your attitude, readily available to change the way you see it, being readily available to change the way you say it, because out of your mouth those are the things that you profess, and those are the things that you change the conditions that are being set by just doing one thing, showing the gratitude for what you have learned in that moment. And after you understand that, I want you to understand something that is called survivor's factors. Now, no, you can't Google this because it is original. It's called survivor's factors, communicating through the circumstance. You can communicate through the circumstance like, you know what? I survived. I'm thankful for me surviving because I'm living proof here to let you know that you can't survive it. I survived it too. I survived the tornadoes. I survived that rape. I survived that parental abuse. I survived the mental abuse. I survived the floods. I survived the wartime situations. I survived that carjacking. I survived all of that stuff. And because I survived, I have the ability to be grateful for the life that I have right now because it allowed me to learn to be readily available to show gratitude. Why? Because I am thankful for the time that I'm able to be here with you because that is my survivor's factor. The fact that I have gone through it allows me to communicate through my circumstances because I am grateful, and my gratitude will always be readily available to show you. All right, the next thing is embrace the redirection. Embracing the redirection is like when people say, "Oh, I failed at this," or "I failed at that." Embrace the redirection. That probably might not be where you were supposed to go. That probably was something that you wasn't supposed to be doing, or you try to do it knowing that you should not have done it, but embrace the redirection because count the lessons and count the blessings. That is the gratitude. When you count the lessons that you learn, you now have the ability to count those blessings, to say, you know what? Hey, the direction that I'm going now is a lot healthier. The money that I've saved now is a whole lot more than what it was when I didn't know anything about wealth. The conversations that I'm having now with my spouse is a whole lot better than what it was before because I count those lessons and I count those blessings. So I'm embracing the redirection and I am grateful for the things that I've learned in that moment that I can go and do bigger, better, and greater things because I am grateful because what? I am communicating through my circumstance. Sometimes you're going to have to close your mouth and be quiet during the redirection. Have you ever met somebody, probably when you was a child, probably even when you was adult, when you know they should have shut their mouth, but they still had something to say and they didn't embrace the redirection, they made it a lot harder for them in the long run because they didn't embrace it. They didn't look at the lessons that was being taught or the lessons that they learned, so they wasn't able to count the blessings. They blocked their blessings because they did not embrace the redirection. And when you block your blessings from the redirection really feels like you're going back through the hell that you felt that you was going through, but you didn't look at embracing the redirection because those lessons that you learned could actually open the doors to your blessing. That is when you're going to be able to learn those things. And when they are so adamant about speaking that when they know they're not supposed to be talking, they still hum. They trying to find a loophole. Like, I didn't say anything, I'm just humming. But you still are doing something that you know you shouldn't do just to say that you did something. They're humming. Close your mouth. Learn how to embrace the redirection. Count those lessons and count those blessings at the same time. And then the last thing I really want to tell you, you're going to have to, gratitude opens doors because gratitude opening doors is the act of humility. So now for me, true story, and I'm sure you have your own. So like when my older children was, I guess, growing of age, and for me, I wasn't the best father. I wasn't. I put my career and I put deployments, I put going to drill sergeant school, I put um army up front that I wasn't really there for them. But when it was time for me to um, show gratitude for them still loving me, I had to put humility on the table and be like, you know what? I appreciate you for loving me because you didn't have to, but I can't control anything I've ever done in the past. But what I can do is change what I do in the future. And when I began to have that space and showing that act of humility and being grateful and putting gratitude up front, it opened so many doors in how we communicate now because I've shown gratitude. I was made to sit down and to listen. And that opened up so many doors in our lives. And that's the same thing with you, because have you ever showed gratitude and grace in that moment, and that it opened up doors for you? That opened up doors in your relationship, it opened up doors on the job, it opened up doors within inside of your own mental being, that once you show gratitude, it opened up so many. It probably have given you an aha moment. That's another door that can be opened up. That mental door, that aha moment, because you've shown gratitude, it opened up doors and it sparked the thought to let you know, like, wow, man, I'm glad that I showed gratitude because this had made me a better person. Showing gratitude had made me a better communicator. Showing gratitude allowed my wife to communicate with me a whole lot different because I am showing her gratitude for the things that she does, and she shows me gratitude for the things that I do. That it opens up so much doors for opportunities and blessings for us to be able to communicate in a much better way, because we're in a much better place because we showed acts of humility to open up doors for us, because we understood that we had to communicate through our circumstance. And the last thing I want to leave you with is to just really hit home with this. Allow your gratitude to become your inner glow. And look at the highlights now. Allow gratitude in. You're going to have to allow gratitude in. Again, that's why I always show gratitude at the beginning of the show, because you don't have to be here, but because you are here, I want to show you gratitude every day. If I have to be the example of gratitude in the morning, that is my inner glow, which has an outward appearance and an outward approach, because I want to allow gratitude in, that I'm going to outwardly show you in the public that I am grateful for you. So allow your gratitude to become your inner glow, and it will have an outward approach. So allow your gratitude in. And when you get in that moment, I guarantee you that there will be a lot less things that you take for granted. And those things that you no longer take for granted, it will put you in a position to learn. It will put you in a position to love. It will put you in a position to understand how to communicate through the circumstance. Hey, y'all be blessed. It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency. And share this with someone, because someone probably needs to learn how to communicate through their circumstance.